vacation in the Florida Keys, and I jumped at the chance to go swimming somewhere that wasn't a swimming pool. So I went down there, and it was absolutely amazing. Everything was so cool. At one point during the dive, my dive buddy tapped me on the shoulder and pointed at something behind me. So I turned, and I saw the biggest fish that I have ever seen in my life. It was a Goliath grouper, and it was easily bigger than any of the divers down there. Looking at that thing, it seemed impossible that humans could have any effect on the oceans and fish that big. But recently I've been learning a lot about how that's not true. Like most fish, groupers are fished by humans. And this comes with the caveat you would expect, that taking fish out of the ocean means there are less in the ocean. But there's another result of this fishing pressure that we tend to overlook and forget about constantly. So to introduce that to you, most of us are familiar with the concept of evolution by natural selection. Evolution being the process by which a species becomes better suited to its environment. So for example, say I have a population of fish that, when fully grown, are either big or small. And natural predators only eat the small fish. Well, over time, big fish are the only ones surviving and reproducing, so the population will become dominated by large fish. The same is true in natural populations. Historically, natural predators eat small fish, causing an evolutionary shift towards bigger fish. But now we need to introduce a new concept, unnatural selection. Unnatural selection is a selective pressure caused by human exploitation, and it often opposes natural selection. So what does that mean? Well, natural predators are already eating small fish, but now humans come in and we want to eat fish. And we don't like small fish. We like big fish. So we come in and create this unnatural selective pressure opposing natural selection, thereby narrowing the size range which evolution can occur in. Because remember, evolution is the process by which a species becomes better suited to its environment. So by changing the environment, we're affecting evolution. And it gets worse because unnatural selection happens way faster than natural selection. So as soon as we're done fishing out all these big fish, we go for the next size down, and smaller and smaller and smaller until the two types of selection overlap, and the species is left with nowhere to evolve. So take a step back for a second and realize how crazy this is. We're imposing evolution, which occurs naturally over thousands of years, and we're forcing it to happen in a few short decades. And we've seen it happening. Fish that historically were caught really big are now showing up smaller, and scientists have seen a decrease in the average size of fish. There's actually a pretty simple fix to this. We just need to make sure that we leave some big fish in the ocean to survive and reproduce. However, current fishing regulations don't really allow for that. Most fishing regulations are based on size limits, which operate under the idea that size is an approximation of age. These deal with the separate problem that we don't want to take a fish that's small and therefore younger out of the population before it's had a chance to grow to reproductive size. So we set these minimum size limits, saying that once a fish has reached a certain size, it's had a couple chances to reproduce. Only then is it safe to remove it from the population because it successfully replaced itself. But these types of regulations don't account for the fact that fish grow at different rates and grow up to be different sizes. So when we set minimum fishing size requirements, we're allowing and even ensuring that the biggest fish are removed from the population. So to solve that and leave more big fish in the population, we need to think of ways to redistribute our fishing effort over a broader size range so that a wider distribution of fish are left in the ocean to evolve. But this is a long-term and wide-scale problem, and it may be too late to regain a lot of the genetic diversity that we've already lost. But it's never too late to try. We need to start including the topic of unnatural selection and evolution in our conversation on fisheries management so that fish like this can be appreciated by future generations and the oceans can continue to evolve in a healthy way. Thank you.